Today we're going to talk about some career choices, what careers we're doing, and how our parents feel about that, right? As Asian people or Chinese people, everyone has heard the saying, if you're not engineer, lawyer, doctor, you're a failure, right? You will be disowned. In a way, that is basically what our parents said to us, right? So let's get right into it. I am a STEM major. I am doing engineering, and my sister is not a STEM major.
Yes. I'm an international business major hoping to do psychology or like therapy in the future. Yes.
So very. Can you say psych is a STEM? No, right?
Okay.
Is psych a STEM?
So technically, we're social science. But I think when like people do both a like STEM major of like say like more so chemistry like biology and stuff, and they also do psychology, they're like, oh yeah, they're vastly different, right? So it's technically STEM,
But didn't they
technically
do?
not.
Didn't
Yeah.
they do? I think social science is considered STEM. No, didn't they change it
Yeah.
where social science is STEM?
Yeah.
So aren't you also STEM?
But it's like it's it's like fake STEM.
Yeah.
It's like the knockoff brands
Yeah.
of like STEM.
So you have Louis Vuitton, then you have Louis.
It's like you're trying to flex, but like it's not working. Louis Vuitton. It's like the same thing,
Yeah, I couldn't think
you
of
know?
something smart. Okay, so technically, okay, so you technically are STEM, but you're one of those loser STEMs.
Hey, don't get people mad. We're gonna
But okay. All right. In my defense, I'm failing, so I might drop out.
Yeah.
So my sister doing international business. I'm doing engineering, and I'm basically following the path that every Asian parent is saying, the good path, right? Engineering, high salary, high paying job. That's the same
Stable
thing.
income.
Stable income, good future, right?
Yeah.
And my sister, it's more international business isn't as stable, or you don't make as much money, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, though. So our parents basically, when they hear that, right, when we just started picking out our majors, what we want to do in our life, they weren't exactly influential to how we chose everything, but they were very vocal about what they were thinking.
Definitely
Right.
very vocal. Yeah.
When I did engineering, they didn't say anything. They honestly, they're like, oh, good. You know, engineering, good.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that's about it. While for you, they were a lot more vocal,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I think like when I look back into it, it's like I get called a lot about like how I'm not gonna get a job and like I'm not learning anything, and I'm always asked like, well, what exactly is your major? As if they're like in denial that my major
Yeah.
is international business. Yeah.
I think also, though, I don't really think they're in denial of what your major is. It's more they don't know what international business is. In all honesty,
know.
I don't even know what international business is at times. When my friends ask me, "Oh, what does your sister do?" I'm like, "International business, right?" Like, I'm not even sure what you
Yeah.
do. And I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure in the beginning, they were thinking, "Oh, you should do something along the lines of like STEM or doctor or whatever." But I think it also, in their mind, it's, I don't know what international business is. I don't think it's as good as engineering or whatever. And it probably won't make that much money.
Yeah. No, they know. They know what
they
it
do?
is.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
It's more so that they don't think it's a skill. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
I think a lot of this, right? Like when they come across and like comparing our majors and like what we do, it's like they want something like a hard skill.
Yeah.
For us to learn a hard, well, it's also considered like a hard or soft skill that's like tangible in some way where it's helpful in like finding a job, right? So
Yeah.
so even if it was like specifically psychology, they expect me to go all the way and like finish it and have that degree of like a PsyD or like be a doctor, because that is the most credible one where they know that you come with hard and soft skills of like being able to like give therapy or being able to give medicine, and the same thing with engineering. You're able to physically like do a lot of the things to actually help people. But in terms of international business, to them, I feel like it's like, oh, well, you haven't really learned anything. Anyone can start a business. Anyone can do that. And it's like not being knowledgeable of like, I think it's the marketing or like the design or stuff like that. They're like, well, that's not really a skill.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a reliable skill. And they really want the reliable skills.
Yeah, which is honestly understandable, right? Coming from them as a lower income family, they do want us to make more money, to have a more successful life. And they think that if you are putting more work right now into doing, let's say, engineering, right? You're going to get it's almost, I wouldn't say a guarantee, but there is a very high chance you'll live a very successful life.
Yeah.
Because most engineers, after a couple years, you're making 6 figures or more. Like, higher 6 figures. While for you, like, international business, I don't think the income is very, very high.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a very broad major.
Yeah.
Like, I do understand. Like, you obviously, like, it's very different because you have to go to a master's or something like that, like, most of the time. Or you have to find your own niche. So, I can understand where the concern is coming from. But it's not like I appreciate the constant, like, you're going to fail in life class.
Yeah. No one really wants that.
Yeah.
Right. So, I guess there is one question, which is, it's kind of weird too, because we are doing very different majors. After so many times of them telling us, oh, you're gonna fail, you're gonna do whatever, and them saying, I'm gonna be successful because I'm an engineer, what do you feel? How do you feel about that? How do you feel about how they look at me and how they look at you?
Yeah. I think the first thing that I would say is, like, I think it helps that even though there's like rivalry between siblings, it's like we've never had that rivalry.
Yeah.
It's like, I think we are always of support of each other. I think sometimes it is a little bit frustrating to hear from them, because it's like you don't want to have someone constantly be like questioning your life decisions.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that's why it's like between the two of us, I don't think we have rivalry. I don't think it makes me feel any like less than from like you, or like, and I hope it hasn't, like, for you, it never has happened like that either. But it definitely is a little like it's a downer, you know?
Yeah.
Like especially since like I'm almost graduating and it's a year left, and like every single time, like near finals, it's like, why don't I call my daughter to tell her how are you gonna get a job? It's like, I don't need you to tell me like go find a job, or like, oh, like what are you gonna do? It's like, and it's like, I don't need like your support in helping me find a job, right? It's like I will figure it out myself. But like, I just don't think it's a good tactic. And I think sometimes it's kind of like, well, like, how does that translate between like me and you and like the people that they're close to? Because if it's always just this negativity towards like the future, it's like, how do you encourage someone that you care about to like want to continue? Because a lot of times it's like, oh, well, it's like when you keep hearing the same thing, like you keep saying like you're a failure, or you're a loser, or like you're never gonna find a job, and you're just gonna be like living paycheck to paycheck, which is not a fun time. But like there's a lot of people that are living like that right now, and then it's like it's not their fault. So I think it's just like that, putting that constant stressor there is like, very frustrating, especially if I'm trying to figure it out.
I agree with you, and I also agree with, or not agree, but I also understand why our parents do that, though, right? In the beginning, we did say that they want the best for us. They want us to succeed, and they don't want us to struggle as much. So I could see why they do it, and but it is very frustrating if they're constantly telling you that, because what's funny is they don't exactly call me often to talk about you, but when they do, it's, oh, do you think is your sister gonna be okay? Is she gonna find a job? How come she's not doing anything? Right? Oh, you might have to help her later on. You guys have to help each other in the future. Right? And I'm thinking, why say that? Right?
I think that's the funny thing. We're like, especially with like our relationship, it's kind of nice though that like they've never really like, I think they used to pit us against each other, but I think in the recent times it's just like helping each other. Like the goal was always like helping each other, which is good. I think which is why we're not like, if one person is more successful, great. Like I'm glad that you are very successful and you will be achieving the things you want to achieve, right? But yeah, like that's how I was like, how does it translate to everybody else? Because then when I don't think I'm struggling, right? But when they say that I'm struggling, and then they ask you, or they ask like our cousin, or they ask like someone else to also translate that information to me, I'm like, chill, bro. Like I don't need all of this right now. Yeah.
And I also think another reason to why they constantly ask and constantly worry, right, isn't really just them worrying. It's other people throwing gas into the fire, right?
You're so right.
They're throwing wood, like they're burning wood and throwing the wood back into the fire, because it's a little weird, right? Everyone has that. Every parent, or a lot of Asian parents do say, a lot of Asian parents are immigrants. They do come from very tough times. They live through very tough times. So I get why many of them are worried about, oh, what is my kid's going to do? I still want to emphasize that a lot of parents aren't talking. It's not good to talk down and put down your kids, but they do it because, one, they don't know how to express themselves that well, and two, they really want you to find a good job, have an easier life, right?
Especially if they've gone through the instability of like, say running a business because they weren't hired anywhere else, or like going through bankruptcy, or like just like going paycheck to paycheck because as immigrants it's not as easy with a language barrier, or like with adjusting to a new environment.
Yeah. So what I wanted to say was that our parents do see a lot of people, right? Sometimes, and they meet people who are high income. Yeah, they make a lot of money annually, right?
Yes.
Whether they are engineering, most of them are engineering, doctors, whatever.
Yeah.
What's really interesting, why I want to bring this up, is that they kind of ignore how they feel and what we tell them to, and why they're so worried, always calling us too, is that they're really easily influenced by other people and what they say. And this might be for other parents too, but I remembered engineers, when they talk to people and they're like, oh, I'm an engineer, I'm this engineer, that engineer, whatever, and they say, oh, my son's doing this engineering. They're like, oh, that's good. While some people say, wait, that's useless. That doesn't work. Like, it's so bad, right? Or they tell them what school I go to, and they're like, that's a terrible school. And then some people are saying, oh, that's a good school, right? It's always that. And they would tell me, are you sure? I'm like, what? What do you mean?
Yeah.
I do engineering. You think the people going to Berkeley, all of them are fucking smart? No, right? And then they would tell them, and when they ask, like, what does your daughter do? And they're, oh, international business. Honestly, some people that aren't professionals but are making a good amount, they're like, oh, that's a good thing. They have told me, oh, people have said international business is a good thing, or psychology is a very high-paying profession, right? But there's also a lot of people that trash on it, where it's, no, you don't make money, it's bad, like, please tell your daughter to go do this, whatever, right? I feel that's also one of the reasons why it's so hard for them to just let us do our own thing.
Yeah.
Remember that time where after literally this, whatever I just said just happened. They're like, oh, psychology. Dude, people in psychology make 6 figures, 200K, whatever.
Yeah.
And our mom comes up to you and like, oh, are you going to do psychology? Are you going to get your master's in psychology? Apparently you can make so much money.
Yeah.
Way more than engineering. It's like, whoa, you just know that? Right? I feel like there's paths to everything, but they don't research it like most Asian parents don't. They just say whatever they think.
Yeah, because those are what they know to be the most stable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is, in the end, still out of fear and worry, but they're still not informing themselves of what actually means, what each thing means, right?
Yeah.
Because our parents did say before that there were some people that they knew that were doing, let's say, comp sci, computer science, but they were working at Best Buy.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't get a job.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that could go for any engineers.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't just go for, like, maybe if you're doing international business or someone's doing psychology, they probably will find a job real quick.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But if you're doing engineering, it doesn't guarantee that you'll come out and you'll get a job.
Yeah.
So I just think it's really weird that our parents do that. But I also understand why. But it's just important that they educate themselves, right? They understand that there are specific things that do work. If it doesn't, we'll figure it out.
Yeah. Or at least be listening to us explain our own major, like why we're there, and trying to understand us and our thoughts as much as we are trying to understand theirs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did want to ask, though, it's like, for you, it seems like a little bit more positive. Has that helped you in trying to do better in your major, or like, you know, like be more confident in like how you going out? Because I know the negative makes me feel more negative, but like, does the positive help you feel more positive?
Here's the funny thing, right? Here's the funny thing. They rarely say, "Good job, you're doing engineering." They rarely say that.
True.
They rarely even acknowledge that I'm doing engineering, unless someone is trashing my school or someone's trashing, you know, computer engineering, right? It's like, other than that, they're usually either just saying, "How are you doing in school? Good, all right, cool," or they're calling me and be like, "Oh, your sister's. Are you sure your sister will make money?"
Oh yeah,
I'm like, So they've never given me much positivity from this. They just think it's kind of just a normal path, right? If I think if in their mind it's a normal path, the traditional route to a good future, good life, I don't think they're gonna congratulate you on that. Right?
True. Like, this is the way.
Yeah.
Either way, right?
Yeah. So no, the positivity has not rubbed off on me. Right?
I'll tell you, you're doing so well, sweetie. What?
No. No. Your positivity doesn't count. Okay? It's not actual positivity. It's pity talk.
No! I wouldn't ever pity talk you.
But yeah, so that's basically it, right?
Yeah.
We just wanted to make this because there are a lot of people who are struggling with finding what they want to do, right?
Yeah.
But we're in a generation where anything can be a profession, right? YouTube, a lot of people are doing YouTube. A lot of people are making a lot of money on that. Twitch streaming, that's also a thing.
Yeah.
You don't have to go the traditional route, right? Engineering, like I said previously, some people aren't getting jobs when you're an engineer. And that could be because of a lot of reasons. And then a lot of psychologists are very happy with what they're doing. They're helping people. They're making a difference in people's lives. And I think they're really happy about that. So in the end, it's more, I'll ask you this. Do you enjoy doing what you do?
Yeah.
International business. Do you enjoy that? Do you enjoy also being able to do extra stuff because school isn't as tough?
Yeah. Ooh, that was the point I was actually going to make. In terms of, okay, one, I don't really love international business, and I'm honestly not sure what I really want to do in the future, and this is like coming out, like I'm gonna be graduating in 2 quarters, so it is something that is on my mind. But yeah, I agree with you. I think the reason why we want to talk about careers and like the vast differences between the two of us is that like there's no like one like right path that you're gonna stick by for a lifetime. And if that's something that happens, that's like great, like good for you that like you're able to have found something that you really want to do, that has some pretty stable income, and you know that you're gonna do for your lifetime and that you're really excited about. Like, that's great. But for other folks that are not the same, like, it's okay. Like, you don't need to have like something that you know for sure you want to do. Like, everyone's like lifespan over the years, that you change courses, you change careers, and people have multiple streams of income coming from different places. Right?
Yeah.
I think that's the thing. I don't really love international business, right? I think there are certain topics within, whether that's social entrepreneurship or project management, that I like really appreciate. But at the end of the day, it's that like I like psychology. I think that going into social work is something that I will likely do, but I'm very knowledgeable of that, like with the communities that I'm going to choose to serve, whether that's like underserved, underrepresented communities, that I'm not going to get that much money back, but I'm going to use the other things I had learned, whether that's marketing, design, like YouTube, and have other sources of income so that I can survive.
Yeah.
So I think at the end of the day, it's like, what's your goal? Like what kind of life do you want to lead?
That's a very, to me, right? It's a very tough question to answer because engineering is very interesting. Engineering, you could do a lot of things. You might be able to be a part of a very big project that changes the world, while you might just be a engineer on the side that's just making iPhones or something, or you're making a Tesla, right? Yeah. So for me, I honestly don't know, because if YouTube is amazing, like YouTube is honestly probably the most popular profession for our generation now. So if that does well, I might do both. You know, engineering to me is really interesting. It's really fun. I wouldn't be unhappy with, let's say, making iPhones every whatever, but I think it's fun, but I want extra stuff. I want to do something else, right? And I think engineering would allow that path that I walked down, which is engineering, the salary and the experience would allow me to do certain things that I want to do, right? So I guess my goal would be do well in engineering and then find out what my actual passion is.
Yeah.
Very vague, but I can't answer that question right now.
Yeah. No, it doesn't need to be specific. Yeah. I think like it's very normal. I think when people come to me sometimes as a fourth year, they're like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm like, yo, same. Right. So like not being entirely sure of like where you want to go and like what exactly you're passionate about is okay. Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. No matter what our parents say.
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah. Like sometimes you just gotta deal with the punches. Roll with the punches.
I don't know. I've never heard of that saying. But yeah, I get what you mean though. Just you don't have to walk down the traditional path. You could just figure it out on your own because of how many opportunities everyone has now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So in the end, does our parents really influence our choices in our professions? Not really. Does it affect us to an extent? Yeah. The negativity can be really tough, and in the end, it's just doing what you want to do. If you want to do what you want to do, you'll probably figure it out.
Yeah.
And exactly. Parents constantly telling you you're garbage. This is not a good profession. Be a doctor. Be a lawyer. Even though if you don't want to, it is really tough. But honestly, for me, it's just push through. And if you do get that job as an engineer and you hate it, once you make a couple $100,000, you'll just move on to the next one. Right. That's my thoughts.
Yeah. Agreed. It's okay not to know. It's okay to have a little uncertainty. Everything is unknown, especially with this pandemic. So, yeah. No matter how much people tell you, you're going to fail, whatever. If it's really your passion, just consider the options around you and go for it.